Michael, this has been a week. In a Florida courtroom, we had to have a former president told through federal prosecutors that he is no longer president. And we just saw the president of the United States go to Philadelphia, where this democracy was born, to fight for the continuing life of the democracy.
Right. Right. Wonderful to see you, sir, on such an historic night. You're absolutely right, Lawrence. And, you know, it's almost impossible to think of those two scenes in the same week. Let's start with Donald Trump and the FBI search. Here's an example of someone who took all these documents to Florida. As far as we know, the information in them may have been given to foreign governments, to terrorists, God knows who. There are laws against that. He told the government that he had sent everything back. There's a serious chance tonight that he's going to be liable to being charged with obstruction of justice and things that are worse. And then on the other side, Joe Biden saying, here we are, I'm president, but the democracy is in peril. Like 1860, like 1940, we're in a situation where few things go the wrong way. We could lose our system, our rule of law, our free and fair elections. And I think one thing that makes presidents look very good in history is when they stand up to that moment and say, you know, this is what it is, fish or cut bait, maybe I'll lose as a result. 1860, Lincoln was running for election, said country can't last half slave and half free. Roosevelt in 1940 was saying, I know a lot of people are terrified of losing their sons, but we may have to stand up against Hitler. I'm saying this even though I might lose.
In 1940, what I was struck by in your conversation with the president is that Franklin Roosevelt was deeply concerned about the strength of and the rise of fascism in America. But we know that concern basically ended on December 7th, 1941, a year later, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. And the country had this just virtually unanimously unifying event, which was joining together for World War II. But that's not the way it was just a few years before that.
No, that's exactly right. Even 1 year before that, as you know from studying history just as well as I do, 1940, Roosevelt was saying, I hope to stay out of war against Hitler and the Japanese, but I'm not sure. Let's make sure we have enough defense. His opponent, Wendell Willkie, was at least pretending to be very anti-war and saying, you vote for Roosevelt, your children are going to be underground. He actually said things like that. And Willkie was making a lot of headway. In October, if that election had been held a month earlier, Willkie could have gotten elected.
And as we go forward in this, what are the lessons that Joe Biden has to keep in mind?
That when there's an issue like whether democracy is going to survive or not, you can't say, although these are important issues, that the most important issue is minimum wage, very important issue. But if there's no democracy, we can't get any satisfaction on minimum wage or on abortion or health care or some of these other issues. And a president who does not recognize that is a small president. Lincoln and Roosevelt did in their time. No one is arguing that Joe Biden is the equal of Lincoln or Roosevelt, but it's a very good historical lesson for every president to know.